Well, good evening and welcome to the pregame show here at the Florida Southfield Stadium, where Bermuda will host Honduras, and we will see the lineups momentarily coming to us, hopefully. I'm your host, Earl Based, joining me is Garrett Punchy Dill and Coach Kita. This evening, it's important for Bermuda to get something out of this match. They got a draw in Antigua a few days ago. They can now come home. It's going to be a tall order. We're playing the seventh-ranked team in CONCACAF in Honduras, and they're also highly ranked in the FIFA rankings. But let's talk a little bit about. Let's go back first and talk a little bit about the game against Antigua and how it sets us up for tonight's match. Coach, just looking at the way the team would have shaped up with the selection, give us your thoughts on how you think they went about the plan or try to execute a plan to try and come away with at least the point they got or all three, because we definitely missed a whole host of chances.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I was able to actually watch the game, the technical difficulties we had, I think that they attempted to play the way the coach wanted them to play. I think we started really slow, and I don't know if we ever really kicked into second gear until after we scored the goal. I think after we scored the goal, we started to go out on a little bit more. I don't know if we were a bit shell shocked initially because of, they were a very physical team, and they came out of the blocks fine. I mean, they're at home. So for me, when I saw the attack in the lineup, I said, "Oh yes, I'm looking forward to watching this. I'm looking forward to seeing how well we do." And I'm sure that the result wasn't what they wanted. Certainly not what we wanted or what we needed going into this match. We knew that game is the first game of the round, and the first game is one that you want to win. Not over, not out of it. Tonight will be our night. We just have to put that behind. We have to, don't give Honduras the respect until they've earned it. You go out there and play. It's 11 players on the field. Whoever wants it more is going to play.
Mm. And Coach, give us your opinion on a result. We're scoring we're giving up early goals as we've been accustomed to, and then we're scoring late. That was real late.
That was really late. Yeah, I still think that what I witnessed a lot of times in the top third of the field, that you have 75% of the ball, and then you're still not being able to create an out and out chance, except for the one that the young man hit the post, whose ball was dropped over the top, and he just seemed to go over, he hit the post. But otherwise, that I haven't seen. I wouldn't say there were a lot of clear cut chances.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of miscommunications amongst the top five in possession in those areas, and I think that was really it was really noticeable.
Mm.
And it's and I got to give Antigua and Barbuda their kudos too, because they dropped behind the ball quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, they only one person high, and this become the norm now.
Right.
How can teams break you down? And they were counter-attacking. And again, I agree with Coach Robinson. Technically, we're a better team, but still, you still see the shortcomings of what we must be able to execute in the last third.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to, the 24th minute, I still say the same, that we still conceding to these teams that I think we shouldn't be conceding to.
Mm-hmm.
And how those goals are conceded, which is the question. Not by set pieces most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of times by contact football that we break down defensively. And I think that's a problem that we have in that particular game also.
Right. Coach, let me ask you, because one of the things that we often talk about is preparation. We didn't see this team get together until about 5 days before they were planning to go in, and I think they were doing 2 days in preparation. Is that always a good thing, or can that go back to haunt you? Because 2 days, if you haven't been playing for a little while, the legs go, and then you're traveling.
So this is not their first rodeo.
Right.
So I'm never going to allow that to be an excuse. So for me, what you 2 days you're at the hotel. What were you doing in
Mhm.
between those sessions? Were you walking things? Were you resting? Were you with the physio? Did you get an ice bath? All those little pieces, right? I don't feel that the result was as a result of the traveling or the the 2 days, and then because they didn't do 2 days before they travel. So for me, it's we just playing slow. I mean, and I have to use my reference. I went back to watching the women play last week and watching us even playing on the back. It's if a team is impressing us,
Mhm.
we still don't feel that we still need to just relax.
Right.
But no, let's play our football. Let's go at them. A few times I would look and see Dante would have the ball and there would be 15, 20 yards in front of them, and we're looking to dump it over the top. Let's be creative.
Mm.
Can we be creative there? Can we force somebody? I mean, back in the days, say to you, hey, keep the ball till somebody comes to you.
Right.
And they come to you now, let's open up space and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So those are the types of things I'll be looking to see tonight. More confidence on the ball, making those types of decisions. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't say that we started slow, we were slightly lethargic because of the travel or because of the training camp. I
Mhm.
mean, when you look at those top level teams, they see their players for 21 days out of the year,
Mhm.
three 7-day training camps, and they are intense.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And then them teams leave and go back to their clubs and play or do whatever. Um, and leading up to that, then this was coming. What were you doing prior to that?
Mhm.
If you were locally based when the season ended, what were you doing? Were you all running? Were you in the gym? What are you doing?
Mhm.
So that your body is able to. Because if we want to get to that next level, these are the things we have to do
Mm.
to prepare our bodies to get to that next level.
Well, let me ask you because before we came on the air, we were talking about a Bermuda style of play. Coach, you seem to have gotten the girls to play to their strength, um, and we would call that for our girls Bermuda style of play. Now, what will it take for the men to identify what our strengths are? Because if you look around the region, we have relatively small forwards, relatively small midfielders, and relatively small defenders going up against these tall, big strikers, big defenders, all that. So off the naked eye, what would you consider our style of football to compete at this level?
That's me for me.
Yes.
Um, Again, it is possession based. Our style of football has to be possession based because, like you said, we're a smaller stature of player. So that's why I get frustrated when we just kick the ball off the field
Mhm.
because a ball in the air is 50-50 anyway. And a lot of times we're not winning this.
Right.
So if we're able to play to our strengths, we have ball playing um, individuals all over the pitch.
Mhm.
So for me, that is playing to our strength, possessing the ball,
Right.
triangle play, um, you know, just being able to 1-2 passes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Getting into the space, supportive, off the ball running, all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. For me, those are the types of things that's gonna help us move the ball up the pitch, looking positive early.
Right.
Not playing the ball around the back and hoping and then off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let us play our attacking type football. We have what we call the Bermuda girl. I mean, it's a girl, it's a course and a finishing girl. I mean, I
Mhm.
scored those when I was in college. But
Right.
if that's how we're going to be looking to play, because 9 times out of 10, defenders go up against the 6 feet,
Right.
then let's just do what we do
Mhm.
more often and for longer periods in the game. And that's how you develop a style, right? Because you're able to do the things that you know are your strengths in the game for longer periods. And that's basically what I would chalk up to having a good a style of play or a brand. But everybody has to buy into it.
Right.
Everybody has to buy into
Yeah.
it. Whether they feel that, you know what I mean? So you look at the Spanish, you look at the English. English, Spain, and Kenny, I was talking to Kenny about it. She's like, in Spain, me and a girl could be passing 5 times back and forth.
Mhm.
But we're keeping the ball, and that's good.
Right.
Go to the other parts as well. some England, Europe, that's boring.
Right.
If one pass it to you, you pass it back to me. Now, but we're keeping the ball. Let's look. How do we keep the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Is that our a possession or a style of football?
If we have the ball, we can't. Yeah. It's highly unlikely we're going to be scored again.
It's exactly. Or are we a team that's going to be trying to play long balls to short attacking players against full defenders?
Right. Punch, I want you to get to give your opinion on that same scenario, but we have a question: why is Nikhil Al's not playing? Nikhil had extended it that he wanted to take a break from international football last season, at the end of last season, and that is why he's not included in the team. He hasn't made himself available, and we can respect that. He's up in age. He's still looking at a few more years in the professional round, and right now he's taking care of what he needs to take care of. So, and we want to wish him all the best this coming season.
And adding to that, we do miss him.
Yeah.
An out striker with the quality that we need, with such young people, with so much young setup in the front six on the board. Ezekiel News tonight. I mean, he's probably the oldest one.
Right.
So his quality, his knowledge is really missed, especially for scoring goals. Especially like the game that became a 1-1.
Right.
I think a lot of times those balls that were dropped in the middle of the box, he's running with the ball. How clever the key is. I think we would probably came out. We probably would have won those games.
Right.
When you're talking about so many teams, like I said earlier, hacking, getting behind the ball. Now,
right.
Putting numbers behind the ball.
Right.
So again, talking about our style, what Keita was saying, I do really agree with that also, Keita. But I think also what we have to add to our game is an organization, defensive organization, a real solid way of how quickly we get behind the ball. And I do always watch these games that what I can pick out from it.
Right.
The game of Friday night between England and Iceland. Yeah. Now, and what I saw, what was so great about Iceland is that, how many times they got man behind the ball, and the ball's going side to side, and the English, and I said, they're not going to break that in, but what they were brave at, how they counterattack.
Right.
And that game could have been 3-0. Not a part of stage. So my thing is that they have that concept.
Right.
And Nordic countries do play that way. And for the fitness level and how quick 45 passes the ball was English 18-yard passes.
Right.
So is that my problem with that is that will the Bermuda public ever accept that? Oh, look how awful! Look, we just sit behind, let the opposition have the ball. I don't know if are we culturally ingrained in that belief that maybe we should be playing that way, even in teams that play every Sunday. We have to come up, and again, what you're saying, Coach, can we mix the two?
Never.
Quick counter-attacking team.
Football is about having the ball.
Yeah,
you want to have the ball. Football is about having the ball. It's not as much as there are moments when you have the ball, when you don't have the ball. Yes, and when you're working to get that in the back. So for me, when we talk about our style or our brand, what does our defensive brand look like? Is our defensive brand sitting, or is our defensive brand sitting? So one of Barcelona's greatest strengths was winning the ball back after they lost it. The Barcelona were 5 seconds in, 5 seconds about the goal, somebody's almost won that ball back.
Yeah.
And then they were able not to play their attacking football. So for me, that is what I'm saying. My thing is this. Defensively, if we're talking about brand, let's speak defensively and attacking. Out of possession, in possession. Out of possession, are we looking to win the ball back quick, or are we sitting? So I hear exactly what you're saying, and that's your question. Are we going to sit behind the ball and just let the opposition have it, or are we trying to win it as soon as possible? When we have the ball, are we trying to play through the lines, or are we just trying to get the ball up the field so that we don't have it? And that's the things that I think the coach is trying to work on and trying to fix. But again, we have to have patience. It's a process.
Yeah.
You're going to find the players that can play the style of football you want to play, and you're going to have those players that may be good individual players, but they don't fit the mood.
Right.
They don't fit the team. And again, we hear it all the time. Why he's not playing the team? He's a good player. He's a good individual. I agree. Skill second to none. But is he willing to come in and fit the mill? And I have that conversation with people all the time. you're coming to the women's team, you have to fit the mold of the girls that's hurt.
Right.
If you can't fit that mold, there's going to be a problem. So when we talk about style with Catherine, we do have one. Bermuda definitely has the style to
Yeah.
play, but we just have to find the players that's going to be able to do it consistently.
And I'll add to that what people saying, what coach is saying also. But you got a small pool of players that pick from.
Right.
We have to get this right in terms of, I think those questions have got to be asked.
Mhm.
This person plays in this position. Is he the right person? Is he how strong is he? Like Tucker that was playing, I think he's been dropped tonight. I thought he's had a pretty good game. I will give him a pretty good game against the Tigman, but yeah, because he had a lot. He had a lot of he had a lot of because they dropped back so far.
Mhm.
So now he becomes okay. Now you got to pick up the right pass. And at times I thought you will see that a lot of his passes were cut out. The intent was there,
Right.
but the quality it didn't really end up where it should have. I don't think that's a minus. I just think that okay, well, he just had to sharpen up in that area.
Right.
He's cool on the ball. He never looks like he never looks he always looks in control of his body language
Yeah.
tells you he's a very good ball handler.
Yeah.
Very good ball
But
handler.
one of the things that we have to take note is that he hasn't played a high level competitive game for quite some time. As you know, he was injured and then let go. So the other night would have been that first game, competitive game, and then the pace and everything. So
he's an intelligent player.
yes,
He I think that Nijai just needs to be like that team player. He
Mhm.
needs to he needs to understand. I'm not sure if he even loves the game as much as if he loved the game, the amount of stuff that boy can do.
Mhm.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm a fan.
right,
I am a fan of Nijai Tucker. I'm a fan of Jai Dean. I'm a fan of these young players. Remy, of course. But what I need from them is to understand that they are still young, that they are part of the future, that if this doesn't work out right now, I don't want them to be, uh, I don't want them to feel as if, yeah, I ain't paying this team anymore. Because we're gonna always be starting over. Yeah?
Mhm.
We're always gonna be starting over, guys. And if we don't have a contingency long-term plan,
Mhm.
then that's gonna be the issue.
And coach, I think I'm so glad you brought that point up. A long-term plan. And I look back again, the years just watching football and watching the teams, like the Portuguese team that's been Ronaldo for so long. You know, all those players that have been together for the same. The Croatian team, Modric is still playing, Kovacic is still playing,
yeah,
and I'm saying that now we got a young group. It's going to take some time. Yes, we are an impatient nation because we have all these young players overseas.
hmm
The results should be different. But I think there's a lot of things being put into place that are working, like how often they get together. Okay, the results are not there yet, and I've heard a lot of talking to a lot of people about we need the results to be better. And I've heard all these different types of conversations. But when you think about all these things, how often these guys are together, who has played competitive for the last 6 months,
right,
at a level, and so you got to put all those the equations together and figure, well, I'm not making excuses,
right,
but we have to be realistic
We have
about
to be
this.
realistic. We have to understand that this is a process. It's a new team, staff, players.
yeah,
You have your sprinkles from the old regime, but you have some players. I think about those players that's coming in now that refused or weren't available for the last part. If they were together for that last regime, for that last qualifier,
right,
if they were a part of the process, they would be further ahead.
Right,
Guys. We would be
right.
further ahead.
yes,
But right now it's new.
yeah, still playing
It's
a catch
new.
up, yeah,
I'm still my 9 is still understanding how my 10 is working and understanding whether they can drop in and create that false 9 look and that third man run. My 6 is still learning whether the 7-11 is going to come inside to receive the pass that they just got off the goalkeeper. So at the end of the day, we have to understand that it's a process.
mm.
it is a process, and we have to give it time. God, say it again, Eric Taneg, Manchester United. He got some of the best players in the world playing there,
Yeah,
and they're still finding their feet. He still has to work through the process.
right. And I like the way you described how the 9 and the 10 have to learn how to work together. The coach is still working, trying to figure out the 1 through 11. You know, who best suits that for the team's sake. You know what I mean? And I tell you now, maybe most people wouldn't agree with it, but because he's working with the team, he sees the strengths and the weaknesses of the 6, of the 7, and of the 8. That's going to make a big difference in a team. So you have to allow that process to manufacture it over a period of time. See, we're quick to judge people on game 1 through game 3,
Mhm.
you know, and then we want to make a change. Um, but it's like you say, it's a process. It's going to take some time, and we just have to be as fans and as supporters, as family, as friends of the players and coaching staff and all. We have to be patient because nothing's going to happen overnight. You know?
No, it won't.
Yeah.
I think, Coach. Again, about this game tonight, the importance of it,
Hmm.
and how we attempt to play, which will be you in the first 10 or 15 minutes. You look at it and say, well, this is how it's set up. I just think that these games, what are the strengths of this national team? What are the strengths of it, and what are the weaknesses of it?
Hmm.
I think the weaknesses I'll go to that first in terms of when we lose possession in certain areas, how well organized and disciplined we are to get into the good defensive positions and make sure we concentrate more and we stop giving up these early goals. And then always look at the statistics, you look at the times the goals scored against Bermuda. Sometimes it's 17th, 20th, it's always around that. We don't see, and then let's go back. That's our weakness. I believe we are very weak at that. I still think the other thing, our set pieces got to be better.
Yeah.
Our set pieces have got to be a lot better. Use be very more effective and creative with our set pieces. Now our strengths, as people say, what do we do with this time? Bermuda players, we're not tall. We're not big guys. We're not, and we're not. We don't have the mentality to be bullies.
Right.
We're not bullies.
Right.
We like this. Look, that's
Pretty stuff.
Pretty, yeah. Let's be, yeah. But it's got. Let's be realistically about that quality or that thing that we have. What way are Armenians built like? What are they like? And then internationally, that's picked up right away.
Yeah.
That's picked up right away.
Yeah. But I think what Coach Keita was alluded to was if we have possession, if we have the ball at our feet, 9 times out of 10 we can dictate how this game could actually operate. The fact that we keep looking to go over the top negates all of that, and now we're back defending because if we do it 10 times, probably one out of those 10 times do we get on the end of the ball, and the odds of that, I mean, you're burning people out because you stretch the field, and then once we lose possession, if those guys get beaten up there, you're outnumbered, and that's where we keep falling down. But I just think you keep the ball on the carpet, keep it at our feet, because we're strong enough on the ball. Our players are very strong on the ball and have that technique and ability to get around players. But if we keep going over the top, we're not going to allow our players to be able to express themselves when going on the ball. I hear you at times talking about express yourself, have fun with it,
Be creative.
Yeah.
Once you brought up a good point about that 20-minute mark. So historically, our teams do fade out. For 20 minutes, we hang in. Ray James, at one time, we had a staff meeting and he said, "You guys know why that happens? Think about training sessions. We'll do something, we'll do a drill, 20 minutes, and then we stop. And do this and do that. Water break, this and that. So we train the body to operate like that. But in the game, we don't stop to get that water break.
Right.
And so what I started to do, I took that advice, I took that to heart and started saying, no, we need session, we're gonna at least run a solid 30 and so like with the women, it's like we have to last past 20 minutes. Okay, we'll last past 20, let's get to the half. Now half, let's get to 70 minutes.
Right.
If 70 minutes we're still doing well, we're doing what then you know what I mean? Doesn't always happen that way. In our last round, we did really well, and the Dominican game, they scored first half, and then they scored second half, but we
Right.
won the end.
Yeah.
But I think that, honestly, I think that this team here is the team. But I'm gonna be very, when I say this, guys, it's the individuals in the team that's gonna make this work. They can't focus on who the coaches are. They cannot focus on who's in the starting 11. They cannot focus on whether they get on the field. There's a lot of football to be played. If you're a player,
Mm-hmm.
then after the seventh or sixth or seventh game, you haven't touched the field, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
I encourage my players, if I'm not, but accept if the coach needs you in there as a situational player, accept your role in the team.
Mm.
Yeah, any team, it's a lot worse things than sitting on the bench.
Yes.
All right, so I get it, and then, geez, take it from me. When you get off that bus here, you want to be.
Yes.
You want. So when I'm called that starting 11 at quarterback, oh yes. Don't get me wrong. I get that. That's emotion. I want you to want to be playing.
Yes.
Trust me and trust the process.
Mm.
Trust the coach. Trust the process.
Yes.
Trust that they've done the video stuff. Trust that they've watched our game from Antigua. Trust. And sometimes you can have a pretty good game, but you're not what's needed for this game.
Right.
You had a pretty good game that day, but you're not what's needed for this, and that's okay.
Right.
That's okay. I know for me, I protected the player. I took some licks because I'm dropped a player, but I'm protected that player because I know that the team we're playing against put some licks in him.
Right.
But again, it's hard. It's very hard because you want to play, but if they can get into a space of, guys, what got this?
Right.
Let's be together. The more together this team is, the more they play for each other, the more they, like they said, when I went to that training session, I could sense that there's not a lot of cohesiveness. There's a lot of where individuals trying to prove a point.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what I was speaking about when I said the brand.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling their brand,
Right.
not the Bermuda brand.
Right.
So when they're playing for Bermuda, you gotta sell the team.
Mm-hmm.
Your individual talents
Right.
will show if you're playing for your team. These guys got over here tonight, and they started knocking that ball around, finding the gaps, playing in 1 and 2 touch passes, 3 touch minimum football.
Right.
They will get this park in, and they also will definitely feel good about themselves.
Right.
And that's what I'm going to be looking at tonight. I'm going to be looking at our in possession. I'm not going to focus too much about our possession. I'm going to focus on our in possession play and exactly what that exactly looks like. What are we doing when we are in possession?
Right.
If I get a minute when my mind clicks into, okay, we lost the ball defensively, what's happening, how long it takes to get the ball back, or what are we doing to force their actions into playing into our hands, then I'll try to look at that, for the post game show. But I'm definitely gonna be looking at our in possession play.
And the other thing, when it's also team we're playing against, you know that it's going to be a possession-based team. Just how prepare, what they're like, what the area is like. And you have to look at Latin American countries.
Mm-hmm.
You think about the style of football that is Costa Rica, El Salvador, Honduras. What particular type of football are they like? And they said they've seen it. And Honduras has been very, like you also said, in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
They competed at this level.
Right.
So they've definitely done the homework on us. I'm sure of that. And but one thing that they will not abandon is the type of philosophy of football. They will not abandon that. And then we have to think, and I've talked to my son, I talked to so many of my brothers about the Central American area.
Mm-hmm.
If you go from Honduras, and again, getting back to your point about our style of football, Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, if you watch them play against one another, now it's called Panama,
Mm-hmm.
what type of football?
Very physical they are.
It's very,
Very physical.
very physical, but in possession,
Yes.
more possession oriented game. And I saw Panama play against Honduras, and I see both teams when they get possession,
Mm-hmm.
how quick the defensive player they filter back. That's both teams
Yes,
again, but
yes.
how often, how long they keep possession.
Mhm.
Not the second and third pass, they ain't giving the ball away.
No.
No, sir. No.
No.
I would think that leadership in terms of is also important. And again, I go back to when I first joined the national program. I was very fortunate to play with 75% of the guys were already established
Mm,
in teams in Bermuda.
right.
So my adjusted role was first of all how they train,
Hmm.
the attitude towards playing for the national team. Like my brother Calvin, I mean, there's that to him, the training ethics and was just like tough. You couldn't slack. You couldn't, like I said, when he's up there in the national team, one of those tracks, Alan Jones would say, "You, Davis Graders, you, Danny Ross, you, hey, all the young men, I want you in the front."
Right.
So, it was a perfect example of what we're talking about. If I can make it clear, is that with this new group, what we are
Mm,
witnessing here, I still think the seniority in certain parts of the field is missing,
right. Right. Right.
and the leadership.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the Bulls said the same thing. This is a young team, a new team. Still have some sprinkles of like one's team in there. But again, everybody's feeling each other out, including the coaching staff. Um, so I guess once we have several more training sessions, several more games under their belts together. Obviously, there's going to be people coming in, people going out. So I just think it's one of those things where we just need to stay confident, keep giving the players encouragement, keep encouraging everybody within the academy itself, because Coach, and I'm pretty sure you would attest to this. Negativity in one group kind of filters down through the entire program because people start talking because you're changing training and you're coming off the field, so you're hearing negative, you're going on the field, that type of stuff that we need to make sure that everybody in the academy program, in the national program, are on the same page as we'll work this together.
No, absolutely. That's a big issue we have in this country. Even with like with Saki, with my son, I always try when it's not selective or when it's not doing well, especially in the developmental space where he needs to develop. I let
Mhm.
him know that you can't blame. You're not gonna come to me and expect me to say, um, "Yeah, man, you should have been doing this, that, and the other."
Right.
Especially if you're in a space where you are still developing.
Yes.
I will support him
Hmm.
if I feel he is being hard done.
Right.
But at the end of the day, in Bermuda, a lot of it happens. If my nephew don't play, and then he comes into our space, yeah, because they coach don't know what to do, they don't know what to talk about, they don't this, you're better than this, you're better than you're not
Mhm.
doing that person you're doing them a big disservice.
Right. Right.
Because at the end of the day, whether or not you think the coach is best, or whether or not you agree with what the coach is saying or doing,
Mhm.
that person keep putting in the work, keep putting in, like I say, it's worse games than sitting on the bench, right? Keep putting in the work. Show that coach. Don't take the word of, yeah, that boy don't like me. Listen, I didn't even be a player, right?
Right.
And again, we are so small, right? So
Mhm.
people forget people check.
Right.
So if I see you down on Front Street a week before you go and play Antigua
Right.
drinking, I'm saying to myself, oh,
Right.
hey, hold. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So these guys have to, everybody needs to be held accountable for the things that they're doing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying off, do your little thing or whatever.
Hmm.
And then we have the other part about he's doing the same thing I'm doing. How come he's starting and I'm not?
Right.
I said, nobody tell me. I don't know.
and coach and I want to add to stuff because I come in contact with like working on job sites and stuff like this. This is what I got so often, and I'm really it kind of I mean use the word piss me off.
Yes.
The view of the public. We lose, nobody wants to support you.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah. We lose. I'm gonna spend $40. So what same guys lose again?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I was like. I say, I have to roll my tongue a lot of times,
Yes.
and think about when Dr. And I always remember when I first started, and it was 18 of the social club. And Dr. I remember you guys are crying like babies. And Dr. told us, hey, in 10 years' time, you see who's really better players. So I'm asking the Bermuda public, it's going to take time. We're not going to get it right. We're a small country. We're still trying to build what a program that's been lacking for years in the direction. So now we're talking about the direction we're going in. And then you heard so much negative stuff, and you, Peter. It comes from sometimes you might have a player in your household, and you're getting such negative. Oh, you didn't get picked. I don't know what they're doing, blah blah. But and you know that does happen.
Yeah.
But we have to give ourselves a little break here and say, listen, let's come support this.
Right.
Let's come support this country.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
Yes.
help. Let's help out. Yes, we're gonna be bad at times, but if you just give up,
Yeah.
and then where are we gonna go? And I really appreciate the fact that younger people, more younger people come up. And you know, like you said, also in a small country and households are talking, and your grandson is a good footballer,
Yes.
but then he hears, I can't watch them because they're just done, they're slacking this and that. The famous terminology we always said done.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is, we have to try to change your behavior. Let's give them a chance. Like you, coach. I mean, you know, I can imagine what you've been through when you first started, and it's grown. And you know, more girls playing this game.
Yes.
Other women, it's a goal line, and you know you're doing very well. I applaud you for that. But for me, never do I say ever I'm not going to a game because
I'm never not gonna. I'm
never
never
gonna
not
come to
going to
support
come
this
to watch
country.
my country. I don't care what it costs.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I agree, and it's again, and you're gonna hear it tonight, right? And what this the other piece that happens is the guy that's out there, especially the local base players.
Yeah.
They play for Village, or they play for PAC.
Yes.
The Village fans are not for him. The guys got on a Bermuda jersey.
Yes.
I could care less who he plays for in the league, but that's the type of stuff that happens here.
Right.
That was so small, and that's what hinders it. Tonight in these stands, I don't care what's happening. You go to these other countries, they don't care what's going on. They are cheering, they're celebrating. I swear Bermuda's the only country where you have to go and hype up the crowd. The players have to hype the crowd. In England, before the game even starts, then people be singing and shouting and acting right through.
Yep.
Here, we have to score a goal.
Yes.
We can't even make a good pass.
Well,
we have to score a goal, and then the crowd cheers, and then the girl silent.
I think one of the biggest problems that we as a country have is we're quick to be negative right from the start.
Yeah.
So when this team is announced, and we do have the team, and I'll announce it very shortly. When the team's announced, people will be in the stands. Why isn't so playing? Why isn't so playing? Instead of just supporting the team, because that person could come off the bench and make an impact.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because he's part of the team. Yeah. So, you know, let me just run down the starting lineup for Bermuda this evening. It's going to be Dale Evengood, Roger Lee, Dante Lavrock, Janai Butterfield Steed, Ode Todd, Zico Lewis, Kizai Martin, Cole Hall, Kane Critchlow, Jair Parfit, and Luke Robinson. That's the starting 11 for Bermuda. I'm going to have a try and an attempt of these names in Honduras. And I'm going to go with Aderic Menvar, Andy Najar, Carlos Melendez, Luis Vega, Kervin Arrigue, Joseph Rosales, David Ruiz Ochoa, Edwin Rodriguez, Debray Flores, Anthony Lozano, and Luis Palma. That's the starting lineup for Honduras this evening. So, Coach, we just announced the starting lineups for the two teams. On the bench for Bermuda include Detre Dow, Andrew Kemp, Reese Jones Jr., Caleb McDowell, Dayon Swan De Silva, Harry Twite, Nijai Tucker, Riley Robinson, Jai Bean, Nori Scott, Remy Coddington, and Shaquille Mean. So he's got a balance of experience, young, energetic players to choose from to bring off the bench. You know, if he sees fit, that's what the game needs, some injection of life. I believe Harry is not starting because he's carrying a slight knock. That will be one of the reasons why he wouldn't be starting. And it looks as if He's gone with Dante and Roger in the middle, um, with Janai. It'll be interesting to see who he. I know Jair played at one point in time. He played left back in the game against Rhode Island. He started off in the left back position, so maybe he's still working that out with Jair. So we'll wait and see.
So when I heard the team, it appears that we are, uh, would it be, I don't want to say defensive. I don't want to say that we're going with, I'm not going to say it's not scared tactics, but I'm saying we are definitely set up
Right.
to, because the young, energetic ones are on the bench, and so if I was to pretend that I know, I would say that he is actually trying to get control of the game,
Mm-hmm.
probably run down that Honduras team and then release those younger players.
Fresh legs, yeah.
Fresh
Yeah.
legs to go out there and take the game to him.
Right.
So, without having a conversation with him, that would be what I would.
Yeah.
I would
Another
think
option
for
that he would have is putting Orde Todd in the center with Dante and putting Roger as a fullback, or vice versa. It's just another option.
So Monday toward in starting.
In the starting lineup, yeah. And he does play in the midfield for his team, his club, but he plays a more defensive role. So it's probably an easier fit to get him, in a central defender position, and allow.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're probably going to play for double 56 for that reason.
Right.
How important is this result tonight? Very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very important. Because two teams that come out of that,
Right.
which is great what FIFA's doing for the next World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a really, that draw there, they really, I won't say it hurt us, but it didn't do as much good. So tonight, this evening, we have to really play a lot of hard.
Right.
Make sure we cut down on those mistakes early,
Mm-hmm.
and take the game to them also.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Take the game to them.
Absolutely.
Make them feel like, whoa, I'm in this country, come to this little country and they get the shock of their lives.
Right.
The women did it against Dominican.
Yes, you did. But again, what we're talking about is it's new team. Everybody's changed. It's so much stuff that's different now. I did also say that we talked about the key battles not being available.
Mm-hmm.
Who I did say this earlier, or having an out and out strike.
Right.
Who would that be? Who have they selected? And what's his team setup?
Right. Well, I mean, if you look at it, obviously Zico will play a wide position.
Yes, he would. Yeah.
The likes of Coho will probably play up top. I think if we utilize Coho and Zico how Bradford City utilized Naki and the other tall striker,
Yes.
I think it works well because you have somebody big in game Coho who can pull that ball up. He's got the physique to do so, and someone like Zico running off of him would make it that much more, more attractive in going forward. And the team would have to be honest in defending, because here you got speed and the ability to head and kick the ball as well. So, I mean, if that's a case of that's where we can go with it.
Yeah.
I would attest to going that way.
I think with having, if I'm just hoping that we don't leave the strike up there by itself.
Yes.
With the way it's set up. I just think that the way it is now for good attacking teams, the lone striker, the striker that plays up there, it's so hard for him to come up with any productive, like really.
Yeah.
What you see now is that you have a striker, then you definitely have two wide players that drop back in channels,
right,
and pick balls up in those areas, and you get the attacking fullback acting as a wingback. So again, how the team is set up and how they play tonight, I again agree with both of you. Again, when we are in possession, we should really be at them.
Right.
Be at them early, and then make sure that we're very solid at the back, we're very organized, right? And if we get something out of set pieces, all good for it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I'm gonna go back to this comment. I'm gonna go back to this comment. Jonte, you scored a half a century today, but we could also use a goal from you tonight. So let's put those boots on. Let's get here. We're going to be joined by the first vice president of the Bermuda Football Association, Mr. Shannon Burgess. You can just have a seat there, sir.
How you doing, sir?
Pretty on. Right.
Anyone would do. Anyone would do. Anyone would do. Well, Mr. Burgess, thank you very much for joining us this evening. We just wanted to get with you. You were part of the national team, actually a captain at one point in time of the national program. Playing a team like Honduras, what can Bermuda expect tonight? Because you've had your battles with this particular country as well.
Right. And so it's all about minimizing errors this evening. As a country that is in the World Cup qualifying campaign, when you play at home, you want to make sure you're defensively sound, firstly, but ensure that you capitalize on any chances that you may have. I watched the match from the State, and despite the quality of our possession at times, the quality of chances that we have, we were not able to do this around good. Today we will have to be so because Honduras will likely take any chances that they get.
Yeah. When we look at the times going by, the preparation that went into when you were part of the national program, I guess the camaraderie that you guys were able to have amongst yourself, even though you were playing against each other week in and week out in league, but coming together as a unit for Bermuda. Take us through what it was like for you back then and what you see today.
I mean, the camaraderie was amazing. As you said, we play against each other week in, week out, and during the season. But when we get into the national camp, into the national team setup, I forged a lot of long-lasting relationships with guys that I fought against from when we were young, right? It was like another club setup. And so there was no damage across PHC nor village when we entered that change room. We were there to win it for the country. And guys like Mishak and Sean Buda and Carl and David will say, we're here to go to war for each other today. And we formed those types of relationships, and we knew that we were battle it out and have each other's back.
No, from the administration side, because as a player, you're on the field, you're battling, you're doing what you can in the jersey, and everybody sees you as the player. But let's talk a little bit about now you at the administration side and behind the scenes, fighting for the players, coaches, and everybody to make sure that we're still able to compete, have games, meaningful games, making sure we can get opportunities for friendlies and all that stuff. So from the administration side, how do you see things going?
I mean, I tend to talk to the player development committee, right? Because it's really within their remit to ensure that platform is good from a national academy standpoint and from a senior men's and women's national team standpoint. And so the groundwork that they've laid, the relationships that have been built, not just for the region but for FIFA. This opportunity that we got in Asia just the other day, it's because it happened because of the conversations that have been having for Bermuda as a country. How can we continue to punch above our weight? And these are the types of opportunities that the team needs to be able to manage these big matches.
Yeah. Any questions?
Have you been in and around the team at all over the past since they've been back?
I have not. I have a day job,
Yeah.
like many others. Like many others. So
enough.
the time that they've been back between now and then in their training camp, I've obviously been involved with my day job, but obviously the technical team would have taken them to the basis.
I just was wondering about the camaraderie because I brought up camaraderie that you guys had. What a lot of when you were playing team was probably locally based.
Right.
Now with these guys, they're not as much around each other locally.
Yeah.
Just wondering about the camaraderie.
So there are probably two things for this year because this is kind of a new unit, right?
Absolutely.
You see some fresh blood in the team. So you have a mix of youth and experience. So I'm interested to see how that bonding is occurring. No doubt when you spend so much time together traveling, training, because you're there for one goal, one mission, you would expect that team will quickly knit. So you'll see. I'm interested to see what the coaching staff say about that as well.
Hey, Nishan, I want to ask you, what is the feeling amongst the association now in terms of results? Because I've heard so much, also to the real public about teams that they think we should be doing. We mentioned the result the other day, and the result against was it Guyana, Bermuda, and they said the result should be we should be doing better against the teams. What is your feelings about that in terms of the results?
Yeah, so I will make no excuses for anyone, but I was actually thinking about this just this morning. I think about the momentum that this particular squad had, and once again, we got a new squad going into the World Cup, and that entire journey leading up to the World Cup, where we were consistently playing matches at a high level against quality competition, often in training camps. COVID kind of proved that. Right? And since COVID, it seems as if we struggle to get back to that level of consistency. So I'd agree. Perhaps we should do better. We should do better than Argentina. But I think we're in the stage where almost back to the start-stop phenomenon that we suffered from many years ago. If we can get this team on a good run, playing consistently against quality competition, I think the future looks good for this particular unit.
Well, I know you do have quite a few other things that you got to get done in your role as first vice president. So we want to wish you and the team well. We're here to support. We'll be here after the match as well, having a post-game show as well. So we'll let you get back to what you need to get back to, and we'll continue on there.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So we've heard from Shannon Burgess, the first vice president of the Bermuda Football Association, former captain of the national team. How things changed.
How things change, yeah. I mean, there's always a place for you in football, and I applaud those who want to get back, once they reach that shelf life. So, kudos to Shannon and to Mark as well. But like you said, we have to play. The game is the best teacher at this level. I don't believe in the game being the best teacher too much at the lower level because you got to teach technical abilities and develop players. But we're gonna learn how good we are. We're gonna learn what it is that we need to do playing against that opposition, playing this type of opposition. Iron sharpens iron. I tell my girls, last week we played, we knew we'll beat the under 15 girls. This week we played, we knew we won't beat the under 15 boys. And we did, but that's the type of, because when we now go and play against our people, you know what I mean? We know that we can play against people that's pressing us hard. They're just not males. They're not just little boys. They're big women. And we now have to be able to play and think the same way. So it's never going to be a case where you can get too many of those games. The more games these guys get, the better. Yeah. The better we get, the more money we're going to get, the more we're going to be able to travel and do those extra things. But right now, we don't have to play against better countries than us. We need to play against better teams than us. Yeah. Whatever that looks like. It could be an NWSL team. It can be you know what I mean? It could be a championship team or second division team in England. Right. But just getting matches, getting matches, playing against tough opposition to prepare us for that. You know what I mean? And that's what helps prepare us.
I would add something else to that. The continuation of what's happening with the under-15s, the national program, how we're being more involved in competitions. We're getting more teams for the either like the Buffaloes and then those teams that go on the floor and win a competition. You're looking at, well, that's going to be the future players of this country. Mm-hmm. And, so we've got an abundance of people playing outside this country. There's on the 15s, I'm going to the 17s, you have the 19s. So hopefully that the association I think they have themselves headed in the right direction, right, in terms of like getting the under 15s prepared to be in the under 17s,
Yeah.
and just keep the process going. And then how do you filter in the players that play in this country who that actually play league football in this country? How do they filter into the national program?
Right.
So that process again, it's like we all agree tonight that it's a continuation. It's new. It's what we're doing now. It's like everything's talked about. Shows like this, which didn't happen years ago.
Right.
I remember that going back. I know that when I used to watch El Salvador and Honduras come to this country, I knew they always had a traveling cast of reporters and stuff.
Right.
But this was not done. So again, this is new mostly. And again, I'm hoping that the viewing public will keep coming up and supporting what's happening at the national level.
Yeah, I just want to sidetrack just a bit because the women have some important matches coming up as well in the very near future. How is preparations going with that?
Oh, we're preparing. We've been preparing for it. So once we finish our campaign in December, kind of gave them a break, gave them off, and then when they kicked back in February, we just started working on. So what I did was look at the games and seeing the basics of what we're not able to do, passing and moving, driving the goal, anticipation of the goal, scoring goals, goals and finishes. So we spent a lot of time on scoring goals, getting in good scoring positions, doing things like that. But also have now some practice matches against some, like I said, we have some opposition where we can express ourselves, but they still challenge us. And then we have some opposition that we have to understand that we need to keep the ball to keep it out of our goal. And so, I always appreciate the women and our preparation because they're so engaged and they want more. Like so they've been there, so they see that we got right there. So they know what it's gonna take to get past right there. And so they're so good and they're so adaptable. It's just for me as a coach, it's just a blessing to have the group of girls that I have. And when I speak to that camaraderie, they have a system.
Right.
They have a system. So today in our match, we're playing the ones that's not on the field. It's like, oh, this is so good to watch. Look at, oh, great pass, good ball, get behind, good defending, well done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type of stuff. That's the stuff I want to hear from the bench tonight.
Right.
That's what I want to hear. We do something right because there's guys on the field need to know the guys on the bench support.
Right. Right.
And I before we do what you're saying, like when you think of the league here, what's happening in terms of adding to the referees, but people will complain about the referees. That's you see what's happening now.
Right.
So I think take a page out of the book. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. And I'm so happy, and I always talk about what they're doing for the referee, for how they combat the problem of not having enough referees,
right.
and in multiple meetings that I'm not involved with that. So this process also of rebuilding our national program is very important that we get a lot of things right. And I think they're going about it the right way. There's going to be mistakes made. People are not going to be in agreement with all that is done. But there is a challenge for us to not keep falling behind in this process. And I keep saying that, and I keep adding to this, that the amount of kids that are leaving the country early, the overseas play, it's hundreds of them playing in teams in the United States, colleges in the United States. It's lots of them playing over in England. Pretty soon you'll hear about Bermuda's playing over in Europe also, maybe in Portugal. And I think that's going to be, it's going to open up for us. And it would add to what we need, the experience.
What is important about that is that, like you said, that 10-year-old who's sitting in the living room hearing whoever saying, I ain't gonna watch the McDonald's. They had a 50-50 sale, 50% off sale, right? There's no way that the stadium shouldn't have been filled up for 50% off sale. I'm not gonna lie, I've been in there for VIP tickets for my little family. You understand what I'm saying? Because I want these chairs to be full. And I want them to have an enjoyable experience, rather than looks like. So, we have to make sure that all this. So we, as coaches, you see all these kids getting off the street, and like, yes,
Right.
national team quality, coming back early, represent Bermuda. But somebody's in the earth saying, don't waste your time.
Right. Right.
Look at Nathan Trot. Nathan, I well done, Nathan, whatever you're doing. But this is your group now.
Right.
No, you should be here.
Mm-hmm.
You should be here challenging Dale. This should be your team.
Right.
And that is my point. So we can get excited that all these that we're victims of our success and all these little kids are going off to go to and doing this thing. But who is talking to these children? Say to them, Bermuda is your country.
Right.
Bermuda is who you should be representing.
Mm-hmm.
You should want every national team, all the people that you emulate.
Right.
Ronaldo, Messi, they will never, ever. I saw them guys in the Euro teams right now, as old as they are,
Mm-hmm.
they will never turn down an opportunity to represent their country in
Yeah.
the cold.
And if they don't retire, they're disappointed that the fact that the coach retired them
Absolutely.
because they want to represent the country.
And
Absolutely.
and I think, again, talk about football, talk about what this country is, but we also have to talk about us, the country itself and its values and its beliefs.
Yeah.
And, I go back to the guys that are playing for Jamaica,
Mm.
right? They then started to play for Jamaica. Bailey, they started for West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a couple of them that decided to take on, while they got Jamaican background, I'm going with the Jamaican. And they, so again, what you're saying, coach, is very important that we get this concept that represents this country. It's meaningful
Mm-hmm.
and it has a lot to do with the youngsters. It just, gives purpose for the youngsters too. And again, the negativity, I just wish that you come out again to the public and support the national program.
Yeah. We've been, I guess, we talked about the team walking across. We've been watching a whole bunch of people from wearing Honduras flags and outfits and so forth. But that's also good for the game that we have these people here, part of our community, and we welcome them to the stadium, cheer on their team, and hopefully tonight they end up on the wrong side.
Oh, yes, they will.
So, again, it's going to be a tall order for Bermuda. And we've said it over and over and over. We just need to support these guys and keep supporting them. We know when we can do the post-game show, we'll have the coach, hopefully, Michael Finley in here, and he can give us an update on what is next, because after these, this is the second game of the second round, and then, we're off for a bit, and then we're back. But, what's the plan? Did the first two rounds match up for what you wanted to get out of them? He's the only one that can answer that. So those are some of the things we want to put to him, and obviously, hopefully, we are on that right side tonight, and it's a tough conversation, but a good conversation.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And I've heard going back a couple of years ago, the national team played no games.
Yes.
So now they are.
Mm-hmm.
Now they are involved, even though it's not looking all rosy.
Yes.
But they're starting somewhere. So again, saying it again, 50th time, just try to support
Mm-hmm.
this national program.
But I would say this. I think everybody has to get better. And I say this, and I'm looking at the association as well, because time and time again, we have a national team that will depart Bermuda, and no one knows who that team is until they're actually left the island. And I think that we have a problem there only because I would like to wish Punchy, if he's in the team, good luck when I see him in the street before the game or before he leaves. But if I don't get that opportunity, Punchy would get on the plane thinking, hey, these guys don't care about me because I saw this guy and he just walked across me. And when he say, good luck.
Yeah, no, I agree, marketing-wise. I think that this one, even early May, I said, guys, we played, was May 6th to be exact. I said, hey, we played a month. Who is when's this coming out? Like, when are we gonna know about it? And I was told it would be next week. Next week would have been week 13, still nothing. So all of this came out last minute. People didn't even know that was happening. And I agree that we have to do better in that area. We must make sure that to get the country behind you, that they have enough time. We can be having rallies, we can be having things, we can be having little things happening at schools, and
Right.
there are different places, there are different things that we could be doing, you know, like even they arrive, or mind you, that's the hard thing, so I want them
Monday,
to come
yeah,
the
yeah,
next day,
yeah.
but could have had something set up to just have them, welcome them back to Bermuda,
Mhm.
you know, with little, you know, kids, you
Yeah,
know, just, and fans, like, we've gone away from that, and
Mhm.
again, we're so caught up in the fact that we didn't make it in the Nations League. Our
Right.
under-23 didn't battle in our games. Like, we're so fixated on the negative results.
Mhm.
These scary Congress guys, there are people in the stands tonight helping we lose that are Bermudians, born and bred.
Yeah, yeah, just so they can continue that,
So they can continue,
record,
so that
yeah.
they feel, so
Good
that
about
they
themselves.
feel good about themselves,
Yeah.
so that they feel validated, so that they feel that they know more.
Mhm.
It's the wildest thing.
Yeah.
Or because somebody from the team didn't get
Didn't
picked in
get
the
picked,
squad.
yeah,
It's wild.
yeah.
And the other thing, you know, again, I'm hoping for promotion of the game.
Mhm.
I would think that when you've got such a game, such importance, you guys are back, maybe having guys, the players who maybe know what they did, well,
Mhm.
young people come to school, meet them, and,
Right.
you know, again, it goes back to promoting the national program.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they're set about doing it.
Mhm.
It's still more to go, but I think things like that make a vast difference. You know, you go somewhere and say, oh, the national team is I don't know, speak to one of the players,
Right.
take a picture with one of the players. I think
Right.
promote this game more.
Mhm.
Let the Bermuda public know that what the national program is about.
Mhm.
Even games like this,
Yeah.
how you promote it more.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, let me just run down the starting lineup for Bermuda once more before we get off the air. DOE Even Good, Roger Lee, Dante Labrock, Janai Butterfield Steve, Amde Todd, Zico Lewis, Keysai Martin, Phil Hall, Kane Critchlow, Jair Prophet, and Luke Robinson are the starting 11 for this evening against Honduras at the Florida Southfield Stadium here at the National Sports Center. Match kicks off at 8 p.m., just about 21 minutes away from the kickoff. I dare not say where you can find the game because we're not sure if it's actually going to be seen live or if it is. So I would suggest go on the CONCACAF website and see if they're carrying it live on their YouTube channel. But folks, we'll be back with a post-game show after the match tonight. So join us. You get all the updated results, and you'll hear from both coaches and teams following the match. So, Coach Kita and Punchy, will take your seats. Let's root on Bermuda to a victory here.
I promise to be back tonight. I
I
promise to be back.
All right. We'll see you after the game, folks.